Daylight. Mobbing on earth, boy. Gonna do this one time for the dog. Long live DMX. About to be a rough ride. Get rich or die mobbing type shit. Yeah, Wack dog. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom. Make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX. You can check the game file, nigga. PDF. Wack dog. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom. Make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX. You can check the game file, nigga. PDF. I'm not talking with the plug about the numbers on the unit. Got a spot OT from Oak and D, and it's booming, coming through like I do. You know, with all my shine on. Tell them my appearance that a nigga get it grind on. All white 114 and men. Nigga Valley got me feeling 14 again. Got girlfriends that take trips on the Greyhound with a tan dog. Who ain't that catch when they touch down for the handoff? I'm hands on, shut them down, open up shop. Think I'm flipping, then get at me, dog. You know how I rock. I've been eating long enough, but I can't stop being greedy. I got divas trying to fuck and they can't stop being needy for a rap dog. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom, make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX, you can check the game out, nigga. PDF, rap star. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom, make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX, you can check the game file, nigga. PDF, rap star. My name, DAALIGHT. What? I claim MOE pro line, no more game. I was trying to play nice, now shit changed. Kill them broad daylight, what these niggas want? The drama they come and get it. Don't know what you bitches want, but they probably need the answer. Probably looking from the jump. You falling, I catch you slipping. Don't know where I'm coming from, so how you gonna say I'm tripping? Where the hood at? I don't think they know who we be. Where my dogs at? See a pussy nigga show your teeth. I'm the rawest that you ever saw. Dog off the reservoir, pure breed for the chief. Dog with no fentanyl, rap dog. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom, make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX, you can check the game file, nigga. PDF, rap star. With the dog like I'm DMX. Got me blowing money fast. DMX, mom, make a pussy nigga bleed. DMX, you can check the game file, nigga. PDF, rap star.
All right. Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAALIGHT, man. 250 on my playlist. Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAALIGHT, man. Daylight TV. This is the Rise and Grind live show. Guess it's my first time really doing it for YouTube and you know the whole thing. Ain't nobody get up in here yet. I was doing the Rise and Grind live show for on my IG at one point. It was just a lot to do the way I was doing it because I was really being like prehistoric and primitive. You know, I was starting out with my phone and all that, creating content before I stepped it up a bit, you know. I've been meaning to come on live for a minute because like I've been telling y'all, a lot of these like current events and shit, it'd be a lot to keep up with. Well, it'd be a lot to cover. And then like I be going the extra mile or whatever, trying to, you know, give y'all all the visual components to go along with the commentary I give. Like, if I was just gonna post the video of me talking, you know, y'all can just get this shit every day. But I like to verify what I say, or at least make it where you can see, you know what I mean? And go and look up, you know, the shit yourself. Like, that's why I be posting the headlines and all of that, you know, when necessary. That way, y'all can y'all can go and Google it yourself and see what's up. You know what I mean? See, I ain't trying to pull your leg. I ain't trying to spin no narrative or nothing like that. You know, just actual factuals. Um. Also, I'm gonna be testing out going live at different times because I don't know, certain days it might be too early for people. But basically with this, before I was kind of telling bits and pieces of my story or whatever, and then I kind of came up with another way I wanted to spin that. So uh thing. If I'm be looking over here or over here, it's because my screen's on either side. You know what I'm saying? So that be the that be the that be the thing and shit. The camera's right here. You know what I mean? But anyway, uh I just uploaded the Diddy America's First Freako, the recap that I've been doing every week. I just uploaded week 7. Um We've been covering every week a testimony. I did everything except jury selection, you know. And yeah, week 7 was pretty much the end of Homeland Security agent Joseph Cercello. He finished his testimony. The prosecution uh, basically did their closing arguments. Defense did their closing arguments, and the jury received instruction to deliberate on Monday. Uh, as y'all probably know, they the jury came back with a verdict on 4 of the 5 charges, you know what I mean, listed in the indictment. They couldn't come to a conclusion, or they couldn't reach a verdict on charge 1, which I believe is the racketeering as it relates to take the actual RICO, right? Which was, I've been saying, is a stretch. Like, I don't see how this is a RICO and all of this other shit or whatever. Like, Diddy is a bad boyfriend and a trick, and definitely deserved. He put the freak up. They got a what you call it, law and crime or whatever. They got a verdict watch. Pull up and see where they at with this shit. Or do I? Um, yeah, they had something up here. I'll find it in a minute. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm actually, while I'm figuring this out, I'm
difficult to get those people
that this shit is kind of over, or at least at this point, because not for nothing,
people to come to a meeting of the minds of.
not for nothing, I felt like one of the jurors. You know what I'm saying? Like, all bullshit aside, because every week, bro, I've been like covering this shit. Oh, got one person up in. Hit that light. But yeah, I've been feeling like one of the jurors on this shit, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been showing up to court every day, having to deal with this shit. At one point, I was actually considering going down, since it's here in New York, I was actually considering going down to the courthouse and waiting on the verdict, like that block up. But yeah, man, right now, uh, the judge sent them back in to deliberate and shit. But yeah, you know, it's pretty much gonna be quiet on that until you know, they get it all together or whatever. Um, because the judge could send them back in or whatever. It's you know, if they're like deadlocked or whatever, or it could be a mistrial, or you know, it's a lot of things or whatever that could happen with it. Um, so I don't know, you know what I mean? But they definitely came to a unanimous verdict on like the last 4 charges for sure, you know. So I don't know, bro. What y'all think or whatever? Did he did he do it? Uh yeah, but I'm over the Diddy shit, man. I'm waiting for the verdict. I don't even know how I feel about the whole case or whatever and shit. Is Diddy on some bullshit? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Do I think he deserves to be like tried under RICO? Like the same charge that John Gotti and you know the same shit they trying to hit Big U with. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Now the prostitution and all that, he definitely, you know, thing. Even the sex trafficking thing, because the guy, what's his name, Sheree Hayes, the Punisher, he said, you know, he ain't think he was being sex trafficked, and he was self-employed. You know, he was doing that for himself. So, you know, what I never understood about the sex trafficking thing was how Diddy, you know, being the trick, the person that's actually paying for the sex worker, could you know, could be charged like as if he was sending off, you know, the sex worker to go get the money and bring it back. But, you know, I learned and realized that even if you're on the receiving end, if you're the client, you can still be charged for your role. You know what I mean? I was just used to it being, you know, charged on like a patronizing of a prostitute or whatever. Because usually the trick will probably be charged in the state. You know what I'm saying? Like where the P might, you know what I mean? Like he might be federally charged depending on, you know, the logistics and all of that, you know, concerning what he got going on. Uh so yeah, until they come back, man, y'all could go and watch all the you know, all the videos or whatever I did, you know what I'm saying, on that. Yeah, it's a lot of it's a bunch. We got a couple. Yeah, man. But see, I got y'all all covered, man. You understand what I'm saying? Couple little other things in between there, but you know, yeah, daylight TV, man. Uh shit, in other news or whatever, we hit 2K subscribers. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who's been rocking, subscribing, liking, you know what I mean? I'm fucking with y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all fucking with me. Um Shit. In other news, man, I wanted to a couple things or whatever we're gonna get into. I gotta go on my playlist real quick.
Good morning.
Still got
I'm
all
Joe.
this shit on here. I ain't gonna lie, I've been working on so much shit, y'all. I ain't really been having time to organize all of these files and findings and shit.
Breaking news, federal authorities.
This some other shit. My bad, y'all. I was sitting here going through this shit. But I wanted to get into the Jim Jones and Nas thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. fuck did I? Yeah, man, this nigga Jimmy, he said he better than Nas. I was looking for that. Sure.
No diplomats, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas.
No diplomats, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones.
Now hold up, man. Yo, did y'all see Fat Joe's face or whatever the whole time? This nigga, watch this shit.
No diplomats, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the
Yo. That's when you got love for a nigga, but you gonna let him cook, but you like dog. Oh, it's too early for this shit, man. But nah, like, hold up. Yeah, this shit crazy.
billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap circles around.
Jim Jones is rapping at a high capacity right now in 2025. I'm on record as saying I think some of the best music that's been coming out of New York in recent years has been from Jim Jones. I haven't seen Nas in that mode. Nas still makes great music at a high level. I just haven't seen Nas in that, let's get active, getting at each other mode.
No diplomats, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track.
Now, this is what I'm gonna say, right? Jim Jones is definitely I have said publicly and in private that Jim Jones is probably one of the most improved rappers that we've seen, like, from where he started when, even before the On My Way to Church album, when he did, I want to say with the Rider music or whatever. He came up, he made a hell of a walk, bro. Like, from having like little funny lines in between, a little or nothing, to actually having standout verses, rapping alongside niggas who we credit as being, real MCs. I don't know about this, man. Like, to even try to compare his career to Nas or whatever, I don't know why he would do that. Like, I would have just kept it on a bar for bar thing, and I don't even know if Jimmy, like, he could probably hang now a hell of a lot more than he can when he started. As nice as he's gotten over the years, I really can't blame him for feeling himself right now. And as far as keeping that whole, that whole Dipset thing, alive or whatever, it had been him. Everybody else kind of inactive. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, it's certain shit, but I was trying to like, cause I was standing up for Jim, you know, as far as the whole, is he from Harlem? Is he not? You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, definitely, you know, uptown baby. You know what I'm saying? He definitely from, you know, Harlem. And then even if he's not, shit, you picked a hell of a time, like over 20 years later, nearly 30 years later and shit. Now you want to debate where the boy from? Yeah, man. Though. What else we got going, dog? What else we got going? Let me go about history real quick. There be shit I be watching. Oh yeah. I want to say, yeah. So something else I came across I wanted to touch on with y'all. I wasn't gonna really sit here and do a whole script on it. But recently on Vlad TV, Freeway Ricky Ross went up on there and he and Wack 100, you know what I mean, kind of had a little face off, you know, on FaceTime while on the show. Pull this up.
You saw this interview, right?
Yeah, I saw that, man. It was a joke, really. I mean, you know, when
Hold on a second. Oh. Wait.
All right. Now, Rick, I had Wack 100 here recently, and me and him were arguing because he claimed that you had some level of cooperation, which I tried to argue with, but, you know, he seemed to have certain things in mind that I wasn't familiar with. So you actually saw this interview, right?
yeah, I saw that, man. It was a joke, really. I mean, you know, when you hear people who have never been in a courtroom, when you hear them talk, they don't understand the law at all. And in my opinion, Wack is one of those people who don't understand the law. You know, what he calls cooperation, people who are going to court fighting cases, we call it discrediting police officers. So, and what I mean by that is, first of all, anybody who go to jail is really committing a crime. The first thing they say is, I didn't do it. You know, even if they did do it, they're gonna say the police is lying.
Mhm.
He planted the gun. The gun wasn't my gun. I didn't have a gun. So all of those are forms of discrediting police officers. So when a police officer gets on the witness stand and they lie, and then you get on the witness stand and you tell them what really happened, that's not cooperation. That's called discrediting police officers.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and FaceTime Wack.
I just want to say, last time I checked, it was cooperation. Corporation is a company. But he is right about one thing though. If you go to court and you say, okay, the police ran up in my joint or they did this, but this was crooked, and you know what I mean, all of that shit or whatever, that's not snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you pleading your case or whatever, that you didn't do what you said you did, or even if you did, there's a loophole or whatever that says they weren't supposed to do whatever they did to catch you. And you know that. But like on Clubhouse, you know what I mean, with Wack and everybody who be doing the paperwork parties and shit, Now I won't say everybody. Like, you know what I mean? There's some people who have some integrity with this and don't have like a dog in the fight per se. They're just interested in, you know, the facts. It's a lot of goalposts moving on what they consider snitching, and it's usually a narrative that they're trying to spin and it ties into something else, you know. And then sometimes the people that they be spinning the narrative on be in on it because it's content. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, but they about to FaceTime Wack or whatever and shit. So we're gonna get it.
Wack. Let's actually get his take on it in person. I got Freeway Ricky right here, and he wants to address what you said in our last interview.
What up, Wack?
What's up?
You know
what? Me and a whole lot of BS.
No, I didn't get you in nothing. You brought that shit up. You should have already known when you bring my name up.
I always defend it. You gotta remember, I know that what you did with the dirty police, we never gave a damn about that. That's it. So what? Right? But I didn't know nothing about all the plugs and connects in Ohio and some dude in Miami and something they had.
You should, if you don't know, you shouldn't mention it. We should only speak on stuff we know about.
Okay, so somebody say, and you know day one, Freeway Rick is snitch. Hey, listen, bro. All he did was gave up the dirty police who crossed him. That ain't telling. As far as I'm concerned, I always took that stance.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
We ain't talking about that. We talking about he gave up the connect.
The connect told on me. What the fuck they talking about? They don't read. You got people, you listening to people who don't read and don't know nothing about the law.
Okay.
My connection set me up.
Okay, so I can remember what they was reading. They was reading something, and my man had it, right? And it was something about something in Ohio. You had something going on in Ohio?
I got arrested in Ohio.
Yeah, something about Ohio. That other dude name who I didn't heard you mention, that was working with the government, Clanton, whatever that dude name.
Blandone.
Yeah, Blandone allegedly plugged you with somebody in New York, and you gave them up. I don't know. Listen, they reading it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me tell you something. There's no way possible that there's anybody on the planet that I could have told on that wouldn't have came forward as public as I am right now, that wouldn't come forward and say, hey, Rick told on me. Where he at?
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get what they got, and I'm going to send it to you.
Now, gears. Yay and nay on the as public as he is, they would have came forward and all of this. Now, it depends on the predicament that person is in. You know what I mean? Like, if a nigga on some career criminal shit, he might not want to, like, you know, expose himself by trying to sit here and expose this nigga, because he might still be operating or doing whatever he doing. And on top of that, the person that he might have rolled on somebody else too. So they don't want to put no spotlight on them trying to call out a snitch and then somebody say, well, you told. You feel me? So yeah, as far as that goes, you know, that could be, you know, either here or there. What I think is crazy is if Wack sat up there on the stage and he took in all this content and all of this shit, and he listened to them read the work, he should be able to say more than the circle that he talking around now. Something about Ohio, like, nigga, anything could be Ohio, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could just say he got bagged in Ohio. It don't have to be anything in there, whatever, and shit at all about somebody telling on somebody. Who did he tell on? There should be a name. If nothing else, you should know the name of the individuals who were told on, because that's definitely in the work. Well, let's keep cooking.
Because they got it. That's why I couldn't
They ain't got nothing. They got dreams and lies.
He also says what I've always stood on, which he cleared up.
Dreams and lies.
And yes, I did stand up in courtroom and tell that Blandon was a lying motherfucker.
Well, my thing was your time deduction, whatever it was, came from the crooked cop shit, which I don't give a fuck about that. So what?
That was in my first case.
Yeah, they showed that. I'm like, nah, you see it right there. That
150 people got out of jail from that, including John Boy, Big Puddin', the list go on and on of the people. Jesse from Main Street, Droopy, all them got time reductions when those cops got indicted.
I've always said I support him with that, but it's the other shit in there. I never knew nothing about. You know,
but you still don't know nothing about it.
No, they got the paperwork on it.
They ain't got no paperwork. That's make believe. That's cartoon shit.
Yeah, they got some type of. I haven't seen the paperwork or whatever. I'll probably go on Pacer later on today and pull up whatever they talking about. If it's not already published on the internet already. But yeah, I mean, Wack don't got it. He can't even say who they're alleging he told on. Because then at that point, the nigga could actually explain it right there, you know, on Vlad.
Shit. You shouldn't participate in that kind of shit. I look at you higher than that.
No, but listen. For one, if I'm gonna participate in defending you, like I always been, they put something in front of me, I can't ignore it.
If somebody put something in front of you, it would be public knowledge. It wouldn't have to be something that you have to go and dig up. You should be able to go to Ohio. You can go to Ohio right now and pull up the news article, and what it's gonna tell you is a $10 million man came to town to face trial. That's what it's gonna say.
I'm gonna be real with you. I ain't never dug your shit up. I've always took it for face value. I'm gonna keep it real. Everything I repeat is what I heard you say.
And all you gotta do is pull it up in the newspaper. When I went to court, it was in the newspaper.
Well, fuck the newspaper, because the newspaper could be manipulated.
But where they gonna get the paperwork from?
Well, all paperwork is public record. You know that, unless it's sealed.
Where they gonna get it from, though?
Well, I'm gonna hit dude because 600 of them got it. I'm gonna hit dude and get it. 600
ain't got it. 600 call me all the time. What is you talking about?
Bullshit.
600 ain't got no. Hold on, let me call 600 right now. Where my phone at?
Because he was there with me when they brought it. Call him.
Hey man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this nigga 600 is always in the mix. This is the guy who got word that Big U house was being raided, and he drove like through the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just always in the mix of some shit or whatever. And I could definitely, you know, that's the exposures, right? So it's like, yo, you the exposure or whatever and shit. You didn't sit here talking about the exposing, but hold on, we're gonna play this shit or whatever because it kind of get a little entertaining. I did watch this or whatever.
He was there with me when they brought it.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, get that because he was more on their side than my side.
Listen, if it was somebody I told on, they done came public, they done went on Vlad and say, no, I'm just telling you, use logic sense though. If it was somebody that I had told on, he'd already came public and said that Rick told on me. Just like the dude did with Meech.
It's the Ohio dude and New York dude.
When I went to Ohio, I went to court by myself.
And I guess that other dude was down in Florida at the time. That whatever that weird that black.
And I've never been indicted or nothing in New York.
Nah, it wasn't you was indicted in New York. He had set you up with a plug in New York. And you get 600 on the line. He ain't answering you?
No, he ain't answering. He might answer you. You hit him and see if he answer you.
Hold on. I might can do this, but we all on here. Hold on. Yeah, let's do it because he was in the room.
Now, hold on a second. I got something here.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be sparing gossip though, homie.
That ain't gossip. They ready.
No, that's gossip. What you saying is straight.
I'm trying to tell you. They ready.
What you saying though is straight gossip, homie.
They ready.
You know, they don't even do that in the hood.
Listen, they ready, bro. Like, what
They hand you the paperwork. You should have got the paperwork. They should have handed you the paperwork in your hand.
hold on, let's get 600 on it. I'm sitting there defending you, and they shoot me. Only thing I can stand on is his time deduction came from the. It said that at the end of it, at the bottom of it. His time deduction came from the cop shit.
That wouldn't even have nothing to do with it. That happened in L.A.
Yeah.
The crooked cops was in L.A.
They had all your shit.
How they get all my shit?
The same way they get.
All right, so I don't know what's up with Rick because he's seen he learned how to read in jail, do the whole law library, whatever. So clearly, my nigga, you know about Pacer. I got a Pacer account. You understand what I'm saying? So it ain't hard to, dig your shit up. And then, I mean, like, my nigga, his whole documentary is about your situation, the Nilo Blandone and, the CIA and Oliver North and Gary Webb, how you shoot yourself twice in the head, like with a shotgun, allegedly. So all this shit is out here, you know what I mean? And you telling on like, some crooked police or whatever. And yeah, I always kind of gave Freeway Rick, a pass on all that shit because it was like you was set up from the jump, bro. Like they basically use you and other people like you to fund a war that basically the government didn't want to pay for, to keep the communists or whatever from conspiring with Iran and, all this other shit. And it's crazy considering what's going on with Iran and all that shit now, right? So, yeah, I definitely didn't put you in the category that I put Larry Davis in because I always said that Larry Davis was a rat because you was in business with the police. Like that was your plug. Like they were the niggas that was giving you the drugs and everything like that. And you was hustling for them. And then you didn't want to like pay them niggas their money. You went and started a label and them boys pulled up on you for their bread like any plug would. You know what I'm saying? You banged it out. You made it. You know what I mean? And then, told. Like, of course they were after you because you shot the cops. I understand the complexity of it, but you got in business with the police, knowing that they were the police, to do something illegal. So they were co-conspirators of yours. So because you didn't want to pay them and they come and get you, that's the streets. The fact that you told because of that or whatever and shit, hey man, it is what it is. So I never put like Rick in that boat because from my understanding, he didn't get involved with nobody knowing that they were attached to law enforcement or government. You feel me? So, yeah, I'll stand with Wack or whatever and shit on that as far as Rick. Now, if he told on some other niggas, I don't know. But then again, if Danilo Blandone is the one that hooked him up with whatever plug they saying he told on, Danilo Blandone is a super rat, like on an international level. You know what I'm saying? So everybody got set up if he's even remotely involved. So I don't even know if you can put that on Rick. You know what I mean? If it did get mentioned, it's probably because it was already in the discovery. You know what I mean? Like when he's finding out everything about Blandone and what he was doing and the fact that he was hooking him up with this person and that person and it was all a setup from Jump Street, then of course he's going to know. Now, if he's sitting there denouncing or saying that Blandone or whatever is a liar and he's really the one responsible, like, you know what I mean, deflecting the whole shit, it depends on how you want to look at it. If you want to go on a witch hunt, then you say that the boy is a snitch. If not, then you know it's like, what else are you supposed to do, whatever, to get from under a charge where a snitch is trying to put you in jail or whatever for something that you allegedly didn't do. So yeah, it get tricky, but that's why, you know, you got to have patience. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to kind of like sit through the due process, and it's a motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's easier when you got bail and you know you're home and you're just kind of waiting for your next court appointment. But when you're actually sitting in that bitch with on a no bond, you know what I'm saying? It hit different. So, yeah.
You know, anybody else shit. I just never went looking for your shit, bro. I never went looking for your shit. On some real shit. I just took what you said at face value.
I ain't never said nothing. I ain't never told nobody that I didn't snitch. I don't have to prove myself to nobody.
Well, I never considered you what you did to the police snitching, personally.
Nobody in the pen didn't either.
Yeah, I've never.
You know, I walked around Lompoc with everybody.
Listen,
from Ray, and I got passes that most people didn't get when I was in the pen. You know, I could go to the
always stood on.
I could go to the Mexican Mafia table and sell cigarettes and candy and soda. Everybody.
Yeah, where this nigga? Why he ain't answering the phone?
He must know what we want.
That nigga 600
I think I want to collect some of my money he owe me.
Hold up, 600 old.
He ain't thinking I got.
Damn, 600 old Ricky some money. And then you ain't even gonna stand up for the man or whatever when they were trying to badmouth. Where's the loyalty? Oh man.
Got you on the phone. He is not answering. That's weird.
Yeah, but you shouldn't repeat that stuff.
Hey, listen, I don't give fuckers about me, you, and him. If they got some paperwork, I'm gonna read it, bro.
You can read it, but you don't. But
you said
listen. You don't even know where the paperwork come from. I'm asking you right now, where the paperwork come from? You don't even know. You don't know if it was a government paperwork. You don't know if it was rolled by one of those tabloid magazines. You don't know where it come from. Could have been some motherfucking clown typed up, and you repeating it.
So now what I gotta do now is really put my people on and just go get it all. I'll go get it all. Ain't no problem. I just ain't never looked into you. I never had a reason to.
Yeah, you just go do your homework.
Yeah. I mean, but what I do know, it had the police shit in there, which was accurate.
What it say about the police? Let's get to the bottom of that. Let me see what it say about the police.
Everything that you always said, like, whatever.
I ain't never said nothing about the police. I don't talk about that shit. I don't have to prove myself. I'm Freeway Rick Ross.
So you said you never had a conversation about what the situation was or how'd you handle the police to get everybody the time off, to get your time off?
I done mentioned that before, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it said. That's what I'm saying. What you mean?
But you don't have no federal when you get federal paperwork, they go into detail. They don't just have no, oh, he told on the police. That ain't how that shit works.
Paperwork ain't hard to get, you know that?
Yeah, but it don't have no just that he told on the police. It don't stop that.
Oh, it got all the details. You got a safety valve for that, right?
I got a safety valve? No,
Yeah, that's what it said. It said you got a time cut. I can't remember how much time they took off, but it definitely said that you got a time cut for that, right?
Yeah, I got a time cut for it.
Yeah, but it didn't show that with nothing else. So it matched that. So you know, if I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, well, shit. Hold on, let me
so look. He talking.
I don't know why this thing ain't answering.
But that's something you could have got that out the newspaper.
I don't acknowledge newspapers.
This nigga said he don't acknowledge newspapers. Hold up. I was gonna leave it alone. I didn't get this far. You know what I'm saying? I got like, I don't know, it was a minute ago where I stopped watching. This nigga said I
just don't.
But you had not. Who is the dude that had the paperwork? Call the dude who had the paperwork.
man, you know what? We got that segment because they came on my channel with that shit. Them niggas have been trying to get to me for a while. I told you that. This ain't nothing new to you.
You ain't never told me this.
Bullshit, because I told you not to go to certain rooms. They was trying to use that fake manager you got to line you up. Bullshit. I definitely told you that. Think about it. Whoever some nigga you be having represent you, nigga, them niggas, a nigga from Philly, it's a nigga from Philly. He was trying to get to you forever, right? And the nigga convinced the nigga to bring you to one of them rooms. I said, don't go to that room. It's a lie. They was going to attack you. Straight up. Last time I talked to you.
I ain't worried about nobody attacking me.
Yeah, I worry about it because you don't do that type of shit on the platforms. And I know how it looks.
Yeah, but he can't. They can't fuck with me. I'm smarter than all these motherfuckers. I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers walking the street right now.
Yeah, but when you ain't in control of the floor, it get different.
I ain't worried about none of these motherfuckers.
But we ain't talking about what you worried about. But like you sitting there, Vlad, you're going to answer, you're going to show up looking a certain way, you're going to talk a certain way because of the perception of yourself.
All right. So at that, right? So they had a little face off or whatever and shit. Wack didn't really have the information, didn't even have the name. Now I see something here.
And he had promised to forgive the loan if Ross introduced him to Blandon. Ross testified that he had never intended to engage in dealing until Blandon started calling him. That's telling.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy, The Answer, man. We knew this was coming after that Vlad interaction, Freeway and Wack. He told him, go get it. He went and got it. Now he's going to read it. How does it look? Wait till you hear this. Let's get to the content.
Freeway Rick.
Out to The Answer.
He said it. He said, go get it. So we went and got it. He said, go get it. So we went and got it. Those of y'all don't know, there's the episode up on Vlad where Freeway Rick FaceTimed me and asked me why I called him a rat. I said, hey, my brother, I've been defending you. I didn't call you a rat, but they presented some paperwork when I was defending you because all I knew was about you and the police saying you was a rat. You care because you come on here to listen to me speak. That's why we got the content. Yeah. Check this out. I'm everywhere. We got no jumper popping. I'm on the Adam and Wack show right there. We got this popping, that popping. We back over here. We here at 1. I got 600 gonna pull up. Then we back at 5. We got Princess Love, Damn Homies, R&B, and a few other surprises. Me, Captain Zaria, my nephew Brock, my main man Lavish. I might even bring Drewby on here. You know what I'm saying? Battle of the sexes. Is it double standard? Why women can't do what men do? Ain't that bottom? Because you ain't a man. We're going to say that for 5 p.m. right here on the Honey Show. We came here briefly to address Freeway Rick and Rick saying that I had no right to say he was a rat. I didn't call him a rat. I was defending him. I said, I don't care about him telling on the police. Somebody else ran the work that said he ratted. That he told on the Connect. You know, so now we're here. Let's get it out there. Let me get 600 up in there. All right. There we go. Let's see if we get those 600 up in here. We had 81 people. Let's get it up to 100. Listen, broke. You broke. The boy Freeway Rick say you was scared to pick the phone up because you owe him some money, man.
Check this out, man.
What money you borrowing from Freeway Rick?
Check this out, man. I'm gonna keep it real. When I first started boxing, I was meeting a lot of people, you know, who was interested in boxing. Freeway Rick was one of the first person I met. You know, and he was trying to get his foot wet in the boxing game. He was trying to get some boxers, sign some fighters, and woo. So my white boy Jerry Rosenberg, like, hey, you know Freeway Rick? I heard him. I never met him. Well, yeah, he's trying to get in the boxing game. You know, he might have a couple dollars. I don't know what he got left, but you know, he might be able to get behind you on something. I'm like, well, whatever. So you know, he called him to the gym. I took pictures with him and all that. And you know, we had a little bit, told him what my plan was, what I was doing. He was like, all right, you know, he might be able to help me. He like, how much the fight? I said, the fights cost like $1,000, bro. Plus expenses. So, this one, mind you.
Now, what you mean the fight costs $1,000?
So I'm being my own promoter. So I gotta find an opponent. I gotta find somebody to come fight me. You know what I mean? If I pay in America, I might be paying $5,000. But if I go to Mexico, I might be able to find an opponent for $1,000. So, you know, he like, all right, I'll get behind you on a couple of them. Bam. I've been trying to tell Big U to come with me to Mexico forever. I'm like, bro, let's go to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. I'll be out there fighting. Woo. He finally said, let's roll. Bam. I forgot I was supposed to go holler at Freeway. I'm like, you mess with Freeway? He like, yeah, I know what's up with him. I said, I'm about to pick up this bread from him. He gonna help me out a little bit. He like, he just give you the money? I'm like, I mean, you know, he gonna help me out. You know what I'm saying? I pay him back and get a big fight. He like, man, that nigga's a rat, man. You know what I'm saying? He's like, but if he gives out the money,
you told him he was a rat.
But I already.
What? Yo. Okay. So Big U is the one that puts in the 600 ear that Freeway Rick was telling. Interesting. So I wonder who Big U knew that Freeway told on. But then again, what's crazy is Freeway in that same Vlad interview, I believe, said that he'd been in communication with Big U. So you saying that to say what? And then you still all these years later or whatever, you still talking to the man. See what I be saying about niggas, man?
They knew he was a rat. The big homes from 9-0 already told me before Freeway even got out. Like, hey, man, he's a rat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no justified snitching. Yeah, he told some police when that's justified. He get out right now and walk right past you. I said, okay. I never really cared about it. It was all over the news, big case, LA going on, you feel me? It was a rat. I mean, the real Rick Ross, the rapper, he made a song about it. So he testified on 30, 47 people. Made a whole song. But everybody knew about it. But I'm just checking to make sure I'm straight before I go do business with this dude in the boxing world.
Yeah, that was, I heard that shit. I want to say it was on Black Market, Black Dollar. And he was like the real Ricky Ross, told on over 40 dudes or some shit. So, I don't know how, you know what I mean, real that is. But I guess we finna get into it.
Bro. I asked the other big homie, I'm like, hey, what's up with Freeway, bro? You feel me? They like, and you know, he a rap, but is it cool? He was like, nah, man, you straight. He was like, man, the police up, lie on us, put us in jail, do all type of stuff. Sometimes I should only get back on them type of. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just hearing that from, because I'm still like listening to some G homies what they be saying. That's just different point of views people are saying. You feel me?
Yeah. Now my point of view was, I never tripped that he told on the police.
Right.
Always defending him. So last week on Vlad, he FaceTimed me. Yeah. Because when I was on Vlad, Vlad asked me, I said, well, you know, I got a different perspective now because he ain't just telling the police, he told on the Connect. Right? So right. Vlad like, what? And I'm like, yeah, he told on the Connect. We was running the room and somebody brought the paperwork. Right? So, you know, we really wasn't tripping Freeway, but Freeway called me out to this and said, Wack, you supposed to be an exposer. If y'all say you're going to get the paperwork, you got to go get it and read it.
Weren't we in a room a long time ago, like a year ago, and some dude gave us the work?
Some dude gave us the work, and we danced around it.
We went around it because I'm like, man, Freeway, my guy.
Yeah, I read it because I'm arguing. I'm like, nah, you talking about the police? Like, nah, read this. So I'm like, I sent it, baby. Can I use your phone real quick? So I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna later go to the Honey Show Instagram, and I'm gonna put the link up in the story so y'all can see where I'm reading this from. R&B.
It's definitely public.
R&B.
You sent me the actual link too.
Yeah. Can I use your phone real quick? You out?
CIA, crack, cocaine controversy.
Hold on. Let me go ahead on and get this phone. Hold on.
So that was a little bit about my story, how I first met him, and I'm doing my background on him the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And some people say he might be all right to quit, but some people like, hey, bro, ain't no justified snitch. You know what I'm saying? So, so as far as the money come in, he do look out for me. You got the work?
Okay, here it is. I'm reading it, and I'm gonna put this up on the Honey Show IG in the story. Part 3, the defense case. In the defense case, Ross attorney called Los Angeles Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Emmerich, the prosecutor in the Big Splendor trial, and elicited testimony about the nature of the case, the extent of Ross' cooperation. Ross' defense, however, focused on the claim of entrapment. Dr. Melvin Hook, Ross' former tennis coach, testified that Ross had complained that someone was harassing him to do a deal despite Ross' protest that he was no longer involved in the trade. And he had gone straight. James Galapia, a Los Angeles probation.
All right, so for those of y'all who are not familiar with Freeway Rick's story, just a quick wrap up to how we get here. He was playing tennis. Supposedly, according to him, his tennis coach was the one that kind of turned him on the cocaine deal. You know what I mean? I guess he realized he wasn't about to go pro or to the French Open and shit. And then I think at one point it was to pay his tennis dues. You know what I mean? Neither here nor there. He ends up catching the case. He goes away for a minute or whatever and shit. He does the little cooperation on the police, I believe, at that point. You know what I mean? And that's how he got the time cut. He gets back out, supposedly trying to go straight. And the Danilo Blandone dude, who was his plug initially, I'm guessing like when he stepped to the big time where he was, kept reaching out to him, trying to get him to do this play. So I guess he finally do the play somehow, I think he ended up needing it or maybe not, whatever. And he do the deal. So now he messing with Danilo again. Now, my whole understanding is that Danilo was already, ratting and all that. So if a guy is already setting you up, to take a fall, and he's already working with the police, anything that you say against him in court is just to kind of debunk the fact, because if your defense is entrapment, right? And you have to say, how they entrap you. Yo, I wasn't trying to do this. This dude just kept hitting me up and, kind of ran a guilt trip on me, like friends, I've always been there for you, whatever your story is going to be. So, I'm trying to understand or whatever, like, but I guess we'll get more understanding. But that's pretty much where it's at with the Freeway Rick shit.
Officer who had worked with Ross on anti-gang projects testified that Ross was addicted to the drug business and very vulnerable after his release from jail. Ross' girlfriend, Marilyn Stubblefield, testified that Blandone and his wife had made frequent calls to Ross. Now that's his other people. Now, Ross testified on his own behalf and told of his history in the drug trade. He testified that his business had grown rapidly once Blandone began to supply him cocaine at a lower price. Ross said that he and Blandone became friends as Blandone taught him about the drug trade. Ross testified that he tried to get out of the drug business after his run-in with corrupt officers in Los Angeles, but Blandone kept trying to pull him back in. Ross said that he always did what Blandone wanted him to do because he was Danilo, you know. He was like my guy, my number one person. I wanted to be Danilo. Ross testified that Blandone was still involved in the trade after he moved back to Miami, and that both Ross and his partner Ali Newell negotiated deals with Blandone there. Ross testified that even after he moved to Cincinnati, this is what Ohio kick in, to get out of the business, Blandone kept pulling him back in. After Ross moved back to Los Angeles from Cincinnati, he tried to stay away from and follow his dream of working on a performance theater for youth and his neighborhood, but instead found himself arrested on Ohio charges. Ross said that when he was released from prison in Texas, he was working as a garbage hauler, trying to earn money to pursue his dream of organizing a community theater. But Blandone contacted him and asked him to call Blandone Collect in Nicaragua from a payphone. When Ross called, Blandone told him that Tony had stolen money from Blandone, that Blandone needed Ross to help to earn money back. Ross testified that he repeatedly told Blandone he did not want to be involved, but he nevertheless maintained contact with Blandone because he wanted to sell Blandone a car. Ross said that he asked about the price in the tape recording conversation because it was just a habit to ask, although he had no desire or ability to conduct a transaction. Ross testified that he was in the palm of Blandone's hand. I was like his puppet. He could pick me up, you know. He could tell me to do almost anything, and I would have done it for him. Ross said that
Damn. Another one. Saying that he was a puppet. You know who else said that they was somebody's puppet, like to the plug? Charles Cosby. And it's crazy because when Charles Cosby did his Vlad interview, people had asked me to, you know, I should do a piece on it or whatever, given like, you know, the relationship we had at one point. And I was like, yeah, like, but I was working on a lot of other shit. I had like a bunch of mafia material joints I was working on. And, you know, I just never got around to it or whatever. And the video never really went like viral, even with the whole Griselda series on Netflix and all of that, right? It's just kind of like laid dead. There was an interview with Michael Corleone Blanco where he started talking about well, he kind of debunked or whatever. He did it in a classy way, but he basically debunked a lot of the story that Charles told or whatever. And I'll get into that later because the nigga ended up doing a Say Cheese interview and you know, the same individuals hit me up again about doing a you know, a spill on it. So you might get that, you know what I'm saying? I might do it or whatever, you know, in this live or whatever, or you know what I mean, later on. We'll see. Let me get back to this shit.
Blandon had asked Ross to get someone for him before, but Ross had refused because he had a strong feeling about people. Ross stated that he had not participated in the negotiation between Chris and Blandon, but had merely been present. Finally, Ross testified he had agreed to do the deal with Blandon because Leroy Brown was lending Ross money for his community theater, and he had promised to forgive the loan if Ross introduced him to Blandon. Ross testified that he had never intended to engage in dealing until Blandon started calling him. That's telling.
Yeah, you can't. You. It's no way around that. You know what I mean? Like it ain't. That's clear, black and white. No negotiation, no excuses, no nothing. Dude's a rap. It is what it is. See, I never actually read that. I seen the other one when he testified on the police.
All right. So that's what he read. Now they're gonna give you their take, and matter of fact, yeah, so they're gonna give you their take or whatever and shit. I'll play it out there and shit. This is what I say. Based on what I know about the whole Danilo Blandon and the whole entrapment scenario and shit, the fact that he was already working and he was the CIA operative, all this other crazy, you know what I mean, like James Bond shit going on. Once Ross found out that he was being set up by Blandon, he pretty much, I guess that's when he decided he was going to go on there and kind of blow out, you know, a whole deeper, because I believe that's where that trial is where the whole Gary Webb and all of that shit like plays out. You know what I mean? So I still like, it's the same case, bro. Like it's what we always knew and shit like that. Now the whole crazy thing about it is he introduced somebody to Blandon, like to try to get a loan off. Like, all right, look, bro, you owe me some bread. I tell you what, you don't got to pay me. Introduce me to that plug you had, because then I'm gonna make that money you owe me back and then some, right? The only way it's bad is if Freeway, Ricky Ross, you know what I mean, knew that Blandon was working before introducing dude to the plug. So he's saying like, yo, Blandon is my guy. I just don't want to be in the drug business. But occasionally I'm helping this nigga out because, you know, he's my friend. Like, you know what I mean? He was my, you know, I was his puppet on the string. I'll do whatever he want except shoot a nigga. He drew the line there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know if or whatever, like that really changes my perspective on his situation. Like, you know, you were set up by a nigga that was already working. Like, according to what you've always said, and from what the media, I mean, even the newspaper, you know, like I said, Gary Webb, like supposedly he got killed over that. But that suicide thing, just look it up, yeah. If you haven't already, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Let's see what these niggas talking about though. Cause this nigga 600, like, you know, they narrative spinners and shit.
Yeah. And remember, I told him, I said, bro, we was running the room, a dude came in there. We immediately thought he was talking about the police.
Right.
We all saw that. He like, nah. I said, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. He said, I'm going to send it. I started reading it. And I remembered Ohio.
That's what I remember, Ohio, yeah. Because I was like, man, I
remembered
didn't remember
Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah.
But even after the fact, we let it, usually we go to dig it. Right? But we let it go because it was him.
Right.
So, Freeway, come on, man. Come on. You.
And that's the same goddamn thing that y'all did with Blue Da Vinci. You know what I'm saying? And then you tried to clean that up or whatever for him, and he admitted it to it. You admitted to it. And this is what I be saying about these niggas, why I don't really buy into much of what they say, and I don't really give too much like energy to it outside of just, the humor. Because, boy, you're not standing on it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so if it's somebody that you cool with, you'll let it rock. And then what you'll do is you'll just use that shit to blackmail them to kind of keep them in line with whatever it is that you want them to do. You know what I mean? To make you look how you look. And yeah, that ain't cool, bro. You ain't supposed to have no pit. You feel me? But hey, niggas switch sides every day, B. You know?
Just went on Vlad. Now, Vlad got to run this. Vlad might be about that time again. Vlad has to run this. Why didn't you just, maneuver around that question with him?
Smell an interview.
Like, 600. If it's a big old ugly broad that you dealt with, and out of nowhere somebody say, oh, I know about Caroline, and you know that's her, you not gonna challenge them to that? He you on it all off with his bad. Right. What about Caroline? Oh man, that was just an old friend of mine. You ain't gonna say what Caroline? Because
right.
I really was.
Man, you know what's crazy? That day we talked on the phone. When I didn't answer my phone, I was training somebody, and I got done. We all got on the phone, and when we mentioned it, he never denied it. That right there was like, whoa. See, when nigga wanted to defend his name, like when nigga brought up the Ohio paperwork, he didn't defend it. He was just like, where you get it from? Remember? So right there, I'm like, oh, he's not even saying he never told or made no other statements outside the police stuff. He just want to know where we got it from. He ain't saying, I ain't never told nobody, bro. That ain't.
But that's where he's wrong, because he did say in there that he didn't tell on nobody, and when he went to court in Ohio, that he went to court by himself. He's asking where the paperwork came from or whatever to even to try to validate it. So he told Wack that he could go and look in the newspaper and he would he could see what happened with the case. The Wack said he don't rock the newspaper or he don't trust the newspaper and all that. So unless this comes from the Department of Justice, because there's on their site, there's usually press releases about all of these cases and everything like that. Or you actually went on Pacer, downloaded the actual court document, and then it'll say United States versus Rick Ross or whatever, his full name is. And yeah, you'll start reading. It'll have a whole breakdown of the case or whatever, like a summary, and then it'll go and break it. It's like a whole outline. You understand what I'm saying? So him asking where it's at, or where it's from, is not an admission of I told or where'd you get the paperwork, unless he knows that it's the paperwork. You know what I mean? Because we don't see the heading on this. We just see that he's showing a piece of the paper where it's highlighted. And that, and he's just reading, what the joint is. But if it's not from a reputable media source that probably has an in-court reporter, or it's not, off out of the DOJ database, yeah, it's where did it come from? He's just reading some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Because I could type up something or whatever about a nigga telling and have all the legalese in there or whatever, where you think like an actual lawyer or some clerk at the county or states, you know what I mean, level wrote that shit. Especially like with this chat GPT now, like, you know what I'm saying? This making everybody seem like they smart. So, yeah.
Ain't me. Where y'all get that nigga? That's a lie. He ain't say none of that. All he said was, who said that? You remember?
Hold on, I ain't.
And we was trying to figure out the dude name who gave us the work in that room that day. But I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we wasn't even thinking about it.
Right.
For all y'all, you exposers is converting to you been exposed. We still here. The team
sure.
Prince, Ghost, and Lavish, me and 600, we still here.
Facts.
But we moving into a marketing and promoting company, bro. Yo, Freeway, you did this to yourself. We didn't. You did this, bro. This wasn't on us.
All right, y'all, there it is, man. So at the end of the day.
So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. The spinning continues. You know? Hold on a second. Just a minute. All right. I had to check some things. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Nah. Yeah, man, we had a hour, almost an hour, 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit flew by. But yeah, that's today's Rise and Grind live show. I'll probably be back on live. This shit was pretty cool. Wasn't really paying attention too much or whatever to everybody pulling up. I was trying to, get the thing. Cause I'm used to the dashboard and on StreamYard. I usually just be pre-recording this shit and uploading the videos and everything. So as I'm like doing this, I'm kind of learning, all the little functions and everything like that. So, bear with it, nigga, Yeah, so that's it, man. I'm pretty much waiting on this Diddy verdict or whatever. Y'all can go and check out all the episodes, like I said before. Working on a new Mafia material. I kind of been so caught up with this or whatever, but I've been working on a big one. You know what I'm saying? And what's dope is it kind of comes with a music project. You know what I mean? So, yes, definitely I've been working on some new music too. I'll give y'all a hint or whatever and show who the Mafia material is about. So the music project is called Get Rich or Die Mobbing. You know what I mean? I put my own little spin on it. You know what I'm saying? And the interesting part about that is we kind of spoke on the Charles Cosby thing or whatever, and it kind of go there. But not gonna get into that or whatever right this minute. I'm actually about to jump off this live. I'll tap back in with y'all. We might do this a little more often. Well, actually, yeah, we're gonna try to keep this Rise and Grind live show open if my morning permitted, So yeah, man. Until next time, Stay dangerous so you can be safe, man. It's your boy DAALIGHT TV. I'm out.